In this Clash of Clans video, we interview an expert, LavaLoon Attacker, who is going to share his secrets so that you can start getting some 3 stars using this strategy. He's going to break down his most recent Town Hall 12 3-star attacks, but I will be sure to quiz him in order to ensure that we get as many tips and tricks that are generic across all Town Hall levels, so let's get into it. Alrighty guys, we have Feef on the line, fresh out of a top level performance in CruncHTime's Perfect War in CWL Elite. Thank you for joining me on the channel, my friend.
Hello guys, thank you for having me today, Judo.
Honestly, pleasure is all mine. I've seen you crushing bases non-stop with the LaLo. It seems like every war that we've had this season, you've been crushing it. So it's great to get you on the channel to discuss them. And this first base that we're looking at, I know that, I tell you what, why don't we just dive straight into it? Let me know why you wanted to use the LaLo on this base initially, and then also, you know, how you started to break it down.
Yep, sure, no worries. So when I look at a base, what I look at is what value you can get with a queen charge and where the sweepers are. So on this base, I saw it was pretty simple to get 2 ITs and the queen with not investing much. And that creates really good pathing for the LaLo, because one sweeper is pointing the queen, and then the other sweeper is, if you LaLo into the town hall, it's negated. That makes the LaLo so much simpler when you don't have to go into a sweeper.
Totally. So you're coming in from down 7 o'clock-ish in order to break into them 2 multi-inferno towers. You'd kind of already theorized, okay, I can get good value from there, and behind the sweepers I've got good pathing for my LaLo. Where do you go from there? Obviously you're trying to think about what specific area of that compartment are you breaking your queen in from?
Yeah, you kind of want queen to stay to the right of that compartment, because you don't want her veering outside the base to go for that left wizard tower. So it's important to wall break near the arch tower. That way the queen stays to the right and she continues going around that compartment and towards the queen.
Okay.
And I use one Valk to funnel the left side, because if I actually hit this base before, and I tried to use a wizard, but the wizard didn't get the DE drill, so she walked around. And that's where it went completely wrong. So yeah, I changed it up. I changed up for the second attack and used the Valk. And the Valk only just got it, which was lucky, but that's all I needed.
Precision, my friend.
And then,
okay, so you use the Valk on the left. Good stuff.
And then I used the king on the right, because I saw he would tank the Archtown Warden for a bit as well, which would help keep the queen alive a bit longer. Because if you look, I'm already starting on 3-point defense on the queen. So I had to burn the rage pretty early, but that was fine, because once you get that out of the way, there's not much left on your queen at the same time.
Yeah, no, I guess there's not. It's you know, you can sometimes not look at it in that kind of depth, actually. You just assume that there's a lot there, but like, you're right. Once you get them defenses down, you've only really got the expo. Yes, you're coming into the enemy queen, but then after that, there's, you know, they're the only 2 things, really.
Yeah, after that, you only engage 1-point defense at a time, really. And the queen. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, so why don't we start the replay? We can, you know, go through that section since we've already talked about it. And then before you then get to the LaLo portion, we'll maybe pause again and you can talk then about how the LaLo is kind of set up for you, because it might make more sense for the viewers once they've seen the pathing that you mentioned.
Yep, that sounds good to me. So start now.
So I'll go ahead and start the replay.
Yep, sure. So as you can see, my queen was already getting low straight away. So I had to burn that rage, but that was fine.
Okay, so on my screen, your Valkyrie has just taken out the Dark Elixir drill.
Okay.
and you've just put the rage in. So then the first test wall breaker obviously nicely gets that small bomb. Lovely use of the freeze and good timing of the wall breakers to get in for the queen to go straight in where you wanted her to.
Yep. And then you see I sent in the Coco Loon because I knew there was Sam there from the previous hit. And then she just slowly makes her way around.
Yeah, so I think at this stage it's really important to just mention for the viewers how you are taking your time here. You know, you're quite aware of what's attacking your queen, what's not attacking your queen, and just giving her that time to get through the base. Now I'm going to pause here just for a second. The clan castle troops have just came out. Obviously, it kind of makes total sense as to why you've used the jump there, but just kind of taking a step back, is there anything that you look for in terms of when you might use wall breakers versus jump versus maybe even the wall wrecker?
So for this one, I wanted to jump because I wanted to get into the second IT compartment because there's actually Teslas at 3 o'clock. And if I had just wall broken, I wouldn't be able to reach those Teslas. It just depends how much extra value you want on your queen if you use a jump or wall breakers.
And I guess you'd need another freeze there as well, wouldn't you, for the multi? Or yeah, you would. You'd need a second freeze. So then you might as well just use your jump anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're only really using the extra spell space, but you're getting that so much extra value that is worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start the replay again. Obviously, we've got a Hound in the CC, quite common nowadays, just to slow down that queen charge. But obviously, you've got nothing on your queen. Healer's out of range of the multi, which is a good angle that you've came in from with the queen. And yeah, just coasting at this stage.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that sweeper, I think I'd have saved that rage, which I used. But the sweeper was making my queen get a bit low.
Yeah.
So yeah, just use that.
Okay, so the LaLo is literally just getting deployed now. I mean, we can kind of see the pathing, but I think this is where a lot of people, including myself, you know, struggle sometimes with the LaLo deployment. You know, what was going through your head in terms of your plan there? What had you pre-thought about how many loons you were dropping in each area, if that makes sense?
So I like to drop like 4 to 5 loons per each outside defense, and that way they take the defenses out and then they all group up on the inside defenses, which is quite nice, instead of them circling around the outside defenses.
Okay, so, yeah, makes sense.
It's all about keeping those loons together in the core and not letting them split to the outside.
So you've just got that quick deployment around the outside, and you know you just kind of planned a generalized 4 to 5 per defense.
Yeah.
Looked at the pathing and made sure that they were going to get to the center, and then you've kept a few for the northern area of the base there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's pretty much like a straight line for the pathing from 9 to 12 anyways.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. And then I use a slam at 12 to tank the air defense while the core group of loons came in.
Yeah, that's a good play right there as well. You know, little stuff like that as well, using the slammer, not just using it as a balloon, but using it to, like you said, to tank as an extra hound is something which is subtle, but it's very effective, obviously. Wow, and you make it look so easy.
Thank you, but no, if you get enough value with your queen charge, the LaLo is pretty straightforward. It's just the queen charge which takes a bit of practice.
Yeah, and I do apologize as well to the viewers for that horrible pop-up that just came in the screen. My laptop does not want to update at the moment. It tries to update and it just sits there and does nothing. I've literally had it sat for 10 hours and it will not update. So I have every single hour of the day that I have my laptop on, that pop-up comes up, and it's incredibly frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of a pro interview video. But we have another attack for you guys. Okay, so we're into the second attack here. Here is the base which you annihilated with the Electron method. So it's good that you have 2 different variations of LaLo. But I feel, Feef, before we get into this attack, we should really just appreciate how amazing this war was. I mean, a perfect. You were a part of that. How does that feel?
It was crazy, really, because the thing about Costa Rica is they did most of their hits with 8 hours left.
Yeah.
So they had 74 stars with 8 hours left, and I think we had around 15 triples. So we had our backs against the walls, but the guys were able to clutch out. So a big shout out to them.
Oh, totally. And I mean, I shout it out every video as well, but if you're a maxed out Town Hall 12, you want to join CruncHTime competitive play, you can join my Discord server. It's always linked in the description of this video. You'll find all of the information you need and directions to the CruncHTime server as well. But I was keeping an eye on Warmatch in terms of the stats, and like you said, although CruncHTime had the better statistics in terms of hit rate throughout, you'd far rather have the triples in the bag than not, if that makes sense. So you're right, you were definitely under pressure, but came through, got it done, perfect, and I can't wait for that 5v5 war as well to decide who actually wins this. But we digress. Let's talk about this base. What are you looking at first then? So you mentioned in the last one, you're looking for value, you're looking for pathing, and you're looking for the sweepers. Was that the same for this base?
Yeah, for sure, because I realized I could get an air defense and IT with my suicide at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I noticed if I limped him from the same place as suicided, I would avoid both sweepers completely. With that Electron, I get an IT, the Queen, and both sweepers, which is really good value for Electron.
Wow, that is as well. Even, you know what? I have watched this replay and I never even noticed how brilliant that Electron is, that you can just sneak that blimp in. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Right the way to the side of that sweeper. Beautiful value.
I think most people assume with Electron you have to use a slammer, but sometimes it's better to get deeper into the base and use a blimp, because that's where the value is.
Totally. And you mentioned you noticed you could get value in terms of the Archer Tower and the... or did you mean the Inferno Tower? Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, because I know you took that and I was thinking you wall breaked in. You must have been wanting that Inferno Tower. But yeah, moment there for me. Anyways, like you said, you take 2 multi-Infernos, you take the Queen, you take the sweepers. I mean, straight away, you can then, everyone can visualize the pathing there. One thing I do want to ask before we start the replay, you came to the Eagle right at the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a key defense that many people will take into consideration trying to hit early on. Was it purely a case of you got so much value elsewhere that you kind of just went for it?
No, normally I wouldn't recommend that, but I kind of like to integrate my LaLo into the Electron. So
yeah,
I think my E-Drag actually stayed up the whole raid, I think. I'm not too sure. But I like to, because they tank for each other essentially.
totally.
I think I started my LaLo simultaneously with the Electron, which helped.
Yeah, especially if you're not using the Electron to create pathing in itself, it just makes sense to do them together, doesn't it? And get that kind of merge of them both going, and like you said, tanking for each other. So why don't we start the replay? We can see the Sui portion first, and then we can kind of pause if we need to. Anything that you want to shout out that you think helps the viewers, obviously, that's why we've got you on the show. You are very much crushing it each and every war with LaLo. So yeah, anything you feel is relevant, please just pipe on up. But let's start the replay now.
Yeah, no worries. So I used the Loon and the Baby Drag to funnel. If you look at the spacing in that area, there's no space for a Tesla. So I was pretty safe with that funnel.
Okay, cool. Good stuff.
Then just let my heroes walk. I got a bit unlucky with my wall. I wall broke the wrong wall.
Yeah, I thought that actually.
I was supposed to wall break like the intersection.
Yeah.
But I think I placed them too high. Luckily, my Queen was smart, as you'll see in the replay. And she broke through to get the Inferno.
Yeah, I guess that building just didn't go down in time, so the wall breakers, went for that.
Yeah.
But I would have still liked them to have gone for the, you know, the junction there, because normally they do that. But
Yeah.
anyways, like you said, probably a bit unlucky there as well. Thankfully, the queen does go through. I like that the king and the ability was used to basically force the queen back in. Again, another kind of pro move there that is very subtle, but it has a big impact on the raid.
Yeah, totally. Queen, those barbs really get a lot. Those rage barbs, it's crazy. So I used a couple of loons to test before I sent the blimp in, and that was just to test for any SAMs, because I needed that blimp to get to that Inferno.
Yeah, you're traveling quite a distance there. And like you said, I love you. I'm going to pause here for a second just because I want to highlight what you said in terms of you've already got that LaLo spreading in from the top. You're not wasting time. You're not wasting DPS here. Your E-Drag is taking out the queen. Your loons are spreading, and you've already got that huge deployment coming in from the top. I mean, that must be difficult in itself to shift your focus quickly between the phases of the attack, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes it is, but on this base there wasn't actually, because if you look, the Expo's on ground,
Yeah.
so I knew my E-Drag would be safe from it hitting anything. Sorry, and then I needed, the only worry was that air defense, which is why I
Hmm.
started the LaLo early as well, so I could tank the air defense.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't even see it there actually underneath the hound, but yeah, that makes
Yeah.
total sense. Cool. Yeah, I mean, and across to the right hand side of the base, it's amazing the amount of base that you've got down. You know, with just your Sui and battle blimp, essentially, you've got the rest of your army for the loons. So we'll go ahead and play the rest of it now,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think, like you said, if you get good enough value, you make it look so easy. You really do.
Yeah. It did get a bit scary that the eagle targeted my loons instead of the hound, but I just had so many loons that I was able to overwhelm the rest of the base essentially.
Now I'm going to pause again here for a second before the gameplay shifts away from what I'm actually going to ask. But did you know that Tesla farm was over there to 9 o'clock as well?
No, this was a fresh hit,
Okay.
but I think I saved one hound for that.
Yeah, so you had the hound coming in from that angle. That's why I wondered whether you knew
Uh,
that was there or whether you just planned that there was, you know, pathing and a lot of damage in there and wanted to just reinforce to that other air defense.
all right, no, it was because there was one last air defense at 9, and I wanted the core loons to like go to the middle, so I wanted to
Yeah,
cut the pathing, which is why I saved that one hound and some loons. It was just a bonus
exactly.
that
Yeah.
Tesla farm was there.
Yeah, well, that worked out great, but totally, I can see why you would do that either way. And obviously, we can see the effect of that. The loon's getting straight to that eagle, straight to the multi, exactly what you wanted. And again, so many loons left over. You made it look easy. You really did. Any other tips for LavaLoon, for anything that you feel would be useful for the viewers that hasn't came across in them first two attacks?
I would say practice your spell deployment, because spells the most key part of LaLo.
Yeah,
It can,
something that I struggle. You know, I'll put a haste spell in, and my loons just go the other way, and I'm like,
yeah.
damn, like I go to the haste spell. But
So
yeah,
you wanna haste through the splash buildings, which are the wizard towers and the ITs,
yeah.
essentially, because they're the ones that do the most damage to loons. Really,
Hmm.
air defenses and point defense can only shoot one Newton at a time, so there's no real rush to haste through them.
Okay, yeah. Just kind of chill out and let them do what they need to. Save your spells primarily just for the splash.
Yeah, exactly. And the freezes are very good now that they're one space.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for joining on the video. I always enjoy to, you know, get the attackers themselves on just so they can give us that little bit deeper understanding. Obviously, when I'm explaining attacks, I'm trying to teach the audience, but I'm also theorizing on exactly why you planned what you did. So it's always cool to just pick up on them little subtle things, and I hope the viewers enjoyed that. Any closing words that you have for this one?
I just want to say thank you for having me, and hopefully we're able to win in this 5v5.
Oh, well, I hope that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to CruncHTime. Like I said, guys, Be sure to join my Discord server if you are interested. I actually did a different video breaking down some of our other attacks of Queen Charge LaLo. If you're interested in seeing that one as well, I'll be sure to link it here on the screen for you. But that wraps it up for this one. Thank you again to Feef for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, peace out.